Awesome, bro. So thank you for doing this. I really appreciate it.
No worries.
Um, so I guess maybe just tell us a little bit about who you are and what you do, like what your company is, and kind of the area of expertise that you specialize in.
Okay, so my name's Jordan Michaelides, and I run an agency in the talent management business, sort of social media land, based here in Melbourne. Sort of kicked off during COVID, accelerated from there. We've got like 35 people on the roster, which is pretty exciting. And yeah, we're sort of focused on the entertainment. Yeah, comedy entertainment space is our forte. Funny people, so to speak.
Yeah.
I find that funny is good medicine.
Oh, totally. And I think you've got a good list from what I've seen, um, of talent. Funny, pretty funny. Will is a redhead kid.
Will Gibb, yeah.
Yeah, he's
Yeah,
funny.
he's a
Oh,
classic.
yeah, he's a
He's a
classic.
classic.
Um,
Um, but
and
yeah, so now we've got like five staff and sort of looking to what's next.
that's awesome, man. Um, and congratulations on your success. Like I know it's kind of like an interesting space, the social media space. So um, yeah, that's great that you're kind of growing and yeah, gathering more talent. Um, I guess my first question to you would be, pretty recently, I think it was late last year, the federal government bought into law as part of the Online Safety Act or something like that, that
Yeah,
under the age of 16 will no longer have access to social media platforms such as TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, Reddit. What are some of the other ones? Snapchat, like the big kind of platforms.
yeah.
And that comes into effect, I think, December 10 or something like that, like mid-December. I think that's going to be in full effect. And the government has stated that it's a way of protecting children under the age of 16 online from things like
Mm,
cyberbullying, predators, I guess just like general mental health kind of stuff as well.
mm,
One, how is this going to affect you and your business?
hmm
And two, what are your thoughts on it? Like, do you agree with it? And it's interesting because as you said, like laughter is great medicine, and your business focuses on that side of the social media landscape. But there is a whole other side to social media that can be dark and content can be violent, harmful. So I guess, yeah, what is
Yeah.
your take on this new law, and how will it affect you kind of going forward?
Yeah, so I've got some pretty strong opinions about it because obviously it affects our business and the people that work in it. And
Yeah, for sure.
I'm also just genuinely a person who is intrigued by politics, political strategy, policy, all that sort of stuff. So when it comes to the intention behind the law, I understand it. Um, there, there's so much data that shows that social media, particularly for young girls, is extremely harmful
Mm,
under a certain age. Like I think, God, I can't remember the guy who's been on Joe Rogan a few times, but he's a psychologist and he has spoken about this numerous times. And they would show levels of harm, but on young girls in particular,
mm,
and when social media kicked in, essentially. And
yeah,
the spike in those figures were like as exponential as the use of social media. So I get the intention behind it, but I also think that generally I don't like the government standing in where, pa in my opinion, this is a problem for parents to deal with. Because
right.
ultimately, what'll happen is they'll get to a certain age. Let's say that they're completely removed from having access to it. They'll get to a certain age and they won't understand the ability to deal with it because they have been removed from it completely and almost banned. Now,
Mm,
on the opposing side of that as well is I know what I was like as a teenager. My parents said I couldn't have something, or I was told I couldn't have something. I will find ways around it. And so that is another element to it.
Hmm.
The other thing that I don't think is often considered, which probably would affect someone like the McFarlane brothers on our roster. So these guys, when you go back on their YouTube channel, because I was just checking then, what are the platforms that are banned? So we've got TikTok, Instagram, Snapchat, X, Facebook, Reddit, Kick, Threads, and YouTube.
Yeah.
Now, YouTube to me
YouTube's a good one.
is an unusual one because it is very educational. Like
Mm.
I primarily use it and listen to it for education. Now, we have these boys on our roster who are 25 now.
Mhm.
They are probably top 10 in the world under 40 talent for VFX and CGI. They began creating on YouTube when they were about 10.
Mm.
So you can go back on their profile and you can see videos from 12 plus years ago when the platform first began of them making content. So my question and what they did with an interview on the ABC is what happens to that sort of individual? Are they going to make that sort of content, or are they just going to look at it as it's in the too hard basket because no one's going to see it now, or there's no social factor associated with it, so they're not going to try? And do we lose those sorts of people in society? I don't know because it's not been studied, and
Mm.
um, but I think that that is a problem that the government hasn't considered. But for me, my general take on it is it's really popular because uh the management of kids having a 2 year old with technology is really hard as a parent, and it's a really good excuse to point and say, "Oh, well, that's just illegal. You can't have it. It's not legal."
Mm.
But it's not going to deal with the underlying issue, in my opinion. And I think kids are very crafty, and they're still going to find access to these sorts of things.
Yeah.
Um, I think they're going to go to places that parents had never thought they would probably go to. You know, you can't ban things like 4chan.
Mm.
4chan exists. I spend all my time on all these different platforms to see what's going on the internet, including 4chan.
Mm.
And you can't ban 4chan based on the inherent nature of the way that platform is structured. It's the web.
Yeah.
So good luck. And so
And can you just tell me a little
does
bit about 4chan and maybe why that could be a concern to parents?
4chan is a place that, in my opinion, most of the extremes of society spend
Yeah.
their times on the internet.
Like Reddit on
Um,
steroids, right?
it's like Reddit on steroids. Yeah, it's like when we were kids and we were like on eBarm's World and stuff like that. But now there's a chat forum associated with it, and you
Yeah.
can communicate with people.
Mm.
And then a kid can go download Signal. Maybe they can get access to Signal and then be chatting to people.
Yeah.
Um, Signal is used by most people in the US government to encrypt their messaging, so no one can find out what they're doing or saying.
Mm.
So I just think it's going to push people to the fringes, and it's not the right approach, as opposed to an education approach. I think the right approach would have been to put in, because the platforms do this really well. We'll get to the point of the business side. It doesn't really affect us because most paid partnerships and advertising is prevented on the platforms. Some better than others, obviously. Like TikTok are horrendous. Anyone can just sign up and just put whatever date of birth.
Mm.
Um, Instagram, it's a bit harder because it's connected to a Facebook profile.
Yep.
Um, it's not as simple as the way that TikTok allows you to do it. So I could sort of maybe there should have been legislation around um, giving people access,
Mm.
but putting some layers to it. I don't know what that looks like, but maybe there could have been some education, and then you got to integrate it into the curriculum nationally as well around teaching people about the effects of social media, you know,
100%.
how do they perceive certain things, and that can go into many classes. It could be, we all do politics eventually at some point, or there's potential to do it at high school. Um, it's really odd. If you think about like if we're in the medieval ages, it
Mm.
would be like if you went to the town square
Mm.
and then the moment you got to I think of like a little Italian town, and
Mm.
the moment you get to the border of the town square, all the kids just get left on the side, particularly if they're like 15, 16, and that's the age they want to start getting involved in conversation with adults.
Mm.
It's such a weird perspective.
Yeah,
Anyway,
I thought there'd be more looking into moderation of the content rather than moderating a user.
yeah.
Because you're right, like especially with YouTube, it is such a educational tool that can be used
Mm,
for kids to learn, and we live in like a social media world now. Like it's. I mean, this band is trying to avoid kids using it, but it's unavoidable in you. As you said, you after 16, you're going to be introduced to it anyway.
yeah.
Um, But having young nieces who are both girls, I totally agree with you on the influence it can have and the harm it can have. Like, uh, they're
The
so
harm is immense. It's
so
immense.
impressionable and so. I forgot how important it is for kids of that age to look cool or be part of what is happening culturally for their age.
Mm,
And if they're consuming, like, I just know via osmosis, I have like an 8 and 11-year-old niece, and they're doing these weird workouts. And like, this is a positive thing, like face care routines and stuff like that, that they see from like beauty influencers or whatever, or fitness influencers. And that's the positive side. And I do understand that there is negative content out there that can also be consumed. But also, then you talk about
body image.
body image standards and stuff like that. So, man, it is such a complex and nuanced conversation. Um,
But yeah, if you, but in my opinion, if you had to do, if you had to either ban something
mm,
or educate around it,
yes.
I always go back to my own childhood and compare my childhood versus my partner's childhood. And
Mhm,
ultimately, when I was a kid, the way that my parents treated things is what's the word? It's not abstinence, but they would basically they would ban a thing,
mm,
completely remove it from the household, or or put it in like reduce access in extreme ways. Good example is like we were all obsessed with like chocolate as kids. My
mm.
parents would put chocolate and lock it in the top drawer of their desk. So
Yeah.
like the any moment we got access to chocolate or
Mm,
lollies, we would just it would be like we would consume it then and then. It was gone. Like
mm.
there was no savoring it. There was no healthy relationship with it.
Yes.
Whereas my wife's family, it was always there in the cupboard. And
Mm.
I was always amazed by that. I was like, what the fuck? Like, well, this is crazy. And so like
Yeah.
I'd go and I'd like grab some chocolate from the cupboard. But like
Yeah.
she and I'd ask her, like, do you want some? She's like, no, no, I'm cool. Like she had a different relationship with that thing.
Yep.
And I just think that that is the wrong approach. I think that you've got to look at it from the perspective of okay, it's there, it exists, it's a part of society.
Yeah.
Let's improve the situation rather than, I think right now what a lot of people do is they're just like, oh, whatever.
Mm.
Give the kid a phone and away they go.
Yeah.
Which is also not the right approach. Um,
Because it's then parenting comes into it as well, and like,
yeah, and I just don't think that the state should be involved in parenting. I think that it is a parenting decision.
I would agree.
Um, and pardon me, I think that it makes parents who are being lazy
Mm,
not deal with it. Whereas if you involve it as part of the school curriculum,
mm.
it really starts to normalize it.
Such a
And
good idea.
and um anyway, so the point of the business side of things, it really won't affect us. Um
That's good to hear.
because, ultimately, um look, maybe on platforms like TikTok, I think you'll probably see a reduction in consumption, but like a lot of our people generally have audiences 25 to 34.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
yeah,
Perfect. So you're not
I don't
going to
see
lose that user engagement from yeah, not having.
from that amount of people.
Yeah.
There are people on the roster, like we've had people like the Fairbairn brothers who've been around forever, and they still have like there is a portion of their audience that is young.
Mm,
But what I find interesting is often because they'll do live shows, um, you know, a- and we always make sure it's like 18 plus or 18 with a guard, unless you bring a guardian.
yeah. Nice.
And so it's still a small portion of their audience, like maybe 5%,
Mm,
um, but not enough to like move the needle for them. It would just be replaced by other people.
yeah. And I want to go back to your point. So that's good to hear that it's not going to affect your business. I'm glad to hear that. I want to go back to your point about these brothers that started creating content at the age of 10 or however old they were.
Yeah, really young.
And it is now and potentially will allow them to live a very like successful existence and life and support people and earn, the potential to earn money online is crazy when you talk about Mr. Beast, who I assume started posting videos before he was 16 also.
Yeah, potentially.
I Show Speed, all these guys. Uh, and it is an aspiration for a lot of kids nowadays is to become a streamer, a YouTuber, an online content creator. Like that is now a very normal aspiration to have as a young person,
Mm.
men and women included. So yeah, I guess are we cutting off by making this ban? Are you cutting like essentially the hope, like the dreams that some kids may have, are you now saying, well, look, that we're taking that off the page? Like you can now no longer become a YouTuber. You can now, uh, because you essentially need to start young, like to build the audience. Not always, but it is like if that's what a kid wants.
Yeah.
Are you now saying no, you can't do that? Like I yeah,
Yeah, it's a tough one. I think we'll definitely lose. It's so hard to say because here's the thing: is there are a lot of people who aspire to do that thing and then they try it and then they realize, oh shit, this is hard, or
yeah.
I hate the work involved in this.
Mhm.
And I think there is a bigger problem. There is a bigger problem in society. People look at the amount like that is the top job that young people want to or aspire to do,
Yeah,
right? And people commentate that that is a problem. And I would kind of tend to agree in that there are plenty of people who are not going to be able to do it, and there are other jobs I think that are going to have impact on society if you're taking that viewpoint. And
yeah,
that is largely a problem to do with what we've incentivized in society right now, so
yeah.
to speak.
The
Um,
glorification of celebrity and all that kind of
Celebrity culture, all that
stuff.
sort of stuff.
Mm.
And also just where the economy is at. I think that's quite a normal thing.
Mm.
Um, People like the McFarlane brothers are they're going to be the top 1% of anything.
Mm.
Um, so will it stop them from making the content? I still don't know yet. I think maybe they'll probably just do it anyway for the love of the game, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
You know, when you look at those boys on their profile, and I encourage anyone who listens to this, um, you know, anyone, even yourself, just go look at it after. Like,
Mm.
it's not like there was going to be many views on. They're really simple videos. Like they're
Mhm.
really basic. It's clearly made by kids.
Yeah.
Um, but it gave them something. It gave them a place to sort of experiment with
Yeah.
and encourage them to keep going.
Yeah. And a lot of it's
Uh,
just an outlet for creativity.
exactly, because you know, you kind of. I'm just trying to think because when I was at high school, you could do things like VCD.
Mm.
I know myself and my wife, as kids, we both individually did it. And you kind of experiment with stuff, but there was nowhere to show people, which is what really helps with encouragement and persistence, I think, is your ability to showcase it to others,
Mm.
whether it's friends, family, or whatever. Um, and
Yeah.
when I was growing up, there was just none of that until really maybe MySpace came out, but I don't think you could post videos on MySpace.
Nah.
So, um, the outlet aspect is probably the biggest thing that I'm looking at. It's not even just the social component.
Mm.
It's literally the that that outlet. But then I don't know what happens with YouTube Kids. So
Yeah.
that's the only thing that I'm a bit tricky with and not I don't fully understand is
Yeah.
okay, so it's saying YouTube Kids will be still allowed, um, and that parents will be able to create accounts for them.
Okay. And so I guess that's for kids up to 16 are then considered YouTube Kids.
Yeah, at the moment it says children under 12
Ah, right.
for YouTube Kids, but I don't know if that means that because obviously YouTube has been pushing back against this pretty hard.
Mm.
Um, because it's the top like the regulator found that it was the top platform for users aged between 8 and 12.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah. It's wild. And I'm not too familiar with what kind of negative content you are finding on YouTube.
You can find really strange
Okay.
stuff,
All right.
which
Yeah.
is where you get like there was an era of that of the sort of YouTube commentator, which they exist now.
Mm,
But now they're covering mainly political content. But
yeah.
back then, it was like they would cover anything, and there was various times where, YouTube Kids or profiles that were targeting children on YouTube
Mm,
were clearly like, this is there's something wrong here.
okay.
Um, or like someone was being, um, I don't know, someone was being used as like a modern slave, if that makes sense. So a good example that one of these YouTubers did that I always remember is there was a lady, she must have been in like re rural Vietnam or Philippines, and she was just breastfeeding for 12 hours straight on like a live stream. And so clearly, and based on the comments that were in the live stream, it was clearly like people using it as porn. So
Oh, okay.
that's an example that comes to mind immediately of like some of the stuff.
Got you.
Um, and it's really, really hard for these platforms. I think I read the other day that something like 1,000
Yeah.
videos are uploaded every hour
Yeah.
on YouTube. And I don't know that in terms of hours of content, that would be like enough for someone to consume over a lifetime.
Yeah.
So like how do you moderate? Like it's very hard. It's very, very hard.
I think it's yeah, it's you can't expect the companies to moderate the amount of media that's coming in, and especially
Yeah.
that can be uploaded any second of the day across billions of people, like globally. And maybe AI will help with that. Like now that they might be able to use AI to kind of integrate that into moderation to weed out some stuff. But
Yeah, and the platforms are actually that's an very interesting point. AI is being used for moderation and
yeah,
it's having good and bad effects.
mm,
I have an example recently where there is a talent on our roster who someone has struck their account as like they've maliciously made a report
mm,
saying that they are they're pretending to be someone that's in the video,
hmm
which is him, which is not the case. And
mm.
so he got the notice, had to appeal it, and it's automatically just been like rejected.
Oh
And
wow.
I can just tell that in that process that it is solely being resolved by a robot because this is how it happens. Like
Mm,
no human has come into that process, and now I've got to go out and reach out to a contact at TikTok to deal with it.
yeah. So there's no
There
there's
are
no nuance in the understanding of maybe what's going on if it's just fed through like an
correct.
AI bot
No,
that.
another example is we had an ad campaign for a brand we're working on, and the in the video the talent says, "I'm the king of Dealsville," or like something like Bargainville or something like that, or "I'm the mayor of Dealsville," right?
Yeah.
And TikTok perceived that as political content. Sorry,
Uh,
Meta did,
yeah.
and so we had to keep appealing it, and it just kept rejecting it. And
Yeah.
we had to go and eventually go to customer support, spend an hour saying, okay, this is an actual person. Culturally in Australia, this is a joke.
Mm.
So, you know, it
Yeah, because there's
perhaps
those buzzwords that it'll catch on to that it thinks is suggesting
correct.
a theme that may not be inherent in what you're trying to portray or something like that.
And maybe that's the problem that the government has with looking at a solution that was about education. Maybe they looked at it internally and said, look, the platforms aren't going to be up to helping us with this.
Mm.
Um, or this is the only solution that we've got.
Yeah. Yeah. Uh, and some people may think it's draconian, but if you're looking at it from a mental health perspective, I guess it's a step in the right direction. But it's like this is like a way to oversimplification of the situation. But it's like you have a steak knife that you use to eat steak with, and you're taught that that is what that knife is for.
Yeah.
That same knife can be used to stab someone and hurt someone. So uh, I think you can look at social media platforms in the same way. Like you could be taught to use it in a very mindful, positive manner, but it
Yeah,
it also has some harmful side effects if not managed properly or used in the wrong way.
correct. Someone could go stab someone who's walking their dog,
Yeah,
you know?
yeah, and uh, but the thing you are talking about is the development of young children,
Correct.
and how it is affecting them. So it's such a I don't want to get stuck on it. It's such a press like important topic, and we live in the social media world now. It is, and it's only going to get more integrated and more heavy towards more users, or et cetera, et cetera. So there definitely needs to be some education. But I want to ask you on that note, being in the space, and this channel looks to help guys in all different facets of their life, potentially, if they stumble across it. Say I'm a young, and I have been in this position, I'm a young business owner or a young uh, entrepreneur or something like that. Um, Especially for guys, say maybe like a young chippy and he's starting his own business. Do you have some like tips on maybe how to get started in the social media space? How to gain a following, like maybe in regards to posting, what to post. Uh, and I know this is broad because there's a lot of different platforms. Maybe we'll stick to Insta if that works.
Mm.
If you think that's a place to be. Yeah, just some general tips on maybe how to start the process and um, some some understanding of how it works.
Yeah, so if I was advising someone and they had a small business, like their electrician or chippy, then my view would be start as an individual as opposed to a business because people ultimately look for people. When we look at our talent and uh, uh, their overall strategy, you kind of got to look at it like the way a business would. Like Disney, Marvel. They're sort of great businesses to look at in the media landscape. They would look at an IP or um, a realm that they delve into, let's say Marvel versus Star Wars, and they look at formats or characters that they can explore. And so that's what a lot of our talent do, depending on the type of comedy or entertainment they do. They might vary across five different characters at any one moment. And so what you would do as a chippy is maybe you would test five different content formats. Maybe it's how to, maybe it's before and afters. Like before and afters in this space would be like a fucking no-brainer. Actually before, middle, and after,
Mhm.
very important. Um, find one of these formats that works in the beginning and just double down on the one that gives you the most views because that is the signal that people want. So typically we say to someone, okay, you're doing these five characters, these three on average getting you 100, 150, 200,000 views.
Mm,
Double down on these other two, you need to kill them in the next month and come up with a new character.
mm,
And over time, some of these characters that were the top three um, get boring for people, or they get bored of it and they kill them later on. And then the new ones that they integrate will become the bigger characters.
mm,
And that's sort of the process essentially. So you take that model and you apply it to the small business, and what you have is someone who needs to test different formats, find what fits, and then just keep doubling down and then be slightly experimenting with it.
mm.
I think that sort of 60-40 or 70-30 being like repeatable stuff versus experimenting, that's the way to go about it.
So the early stages is a lot of just experimenting with who you are in front of the camera and what you're doing,
Correct. Yeah.
and that takes uh, some guts and some confidence to maybe look silly at the start or to film yourself is like it can be a hard thing for people, but
Particularly on a job site.
yeah, right, yeah,
The other thing
you might get a bit of shit early on.
you get a lot of shit early on. I think the other thing to consider is how do you get cut through in your industry? There may be people doing certain formats that um, has already been done to death, and other people look at it in a negative light.
Mm,
Or you could look at it like, okay, I need to remix what a few other people are doing with something else that's being done and make something newer, if that makes sense.
mm,
Um, so we've seen people like explode out of nowhere with their profiles because they've done something that just people love. It's that classic Chris Lilly style character.
mm,
Um, But then I've seen other people come up with newer stuff which is unique, um, like a sort of horrible bosses type character,
Mm.
that has just exploded their profile.
Yeah.
So it really depends. But I think the general structure of having a few formats that you can test, be slightly experimenting with it, be comfortable and be comfortable, comfortable in front of camera, and then doubling down on the stuff that works, you're generally going to do well. And then also, I will say, be prepared to do it for a year or so,
Yeah, to really establish yourself and gain a following, you're thinking like a year is the bare minimum to kind of
minimum. Yeah,
get there. Unless you're very lucky and something goes viral and there's like
correct.
exponential growth. So
There's
it isn't
quality
as easy as
content.
people think it is, right? Like it's like there
God, no.
is you are and that year has to be consistent posting, uh staying on top of it, putting in the work,
Yeah,
and it will require work. I think there's a misconception that you can just do it and it's going to take off and you're going to make money, um,
yes.
or it's going to gain you followers to promote your business. No, yeah, I don't think people understand that maybe there's a lot of work involved in being on social media and garnering a following.
Yeah, I think you can. I think you can get there on the bit for small businesses. I think it's a lot easier because
Hmm.
ultimately, when you're a talent, you have to have a massive audience to
Yeah,
make money from it.
yeah,
Because people pay based on how many views and impressions you can get them.
mm.
Whereas ultimately, with a tradie, all you really need is like a couple customers a month, and then you
Yeah.
have an extremely big business.
Yeah, yeah, you're not looking for you're literally just looking for those next jobs
Exactly.
rather than the monetary gain from content that you're creating. And you should enjoy,
Exactly.
I guess that's a big part of it. If you enjoy making the content, then it's just something you're more inclined to do anyway. So that's probably a big part of it. Like actually enjoying the content you're making, it's going to make the process so much easier for you.
And that alone, if you were just looking at it from okay, I'm a chippy that operates in the Bayside area,
Yeah.
it's gonna make you stand out
Mm.
amongst your competitors.
Yeah.
Particularly if you're showing, you know, before, middle, and after work.
Yeah.
Um, it really does make you stand out in what could be a saturated market at the moment.
Yeah. And it's the cheapest form of advertising. It's free.
Pretty much,
At
yeah.
the time. Yeah, so you just got to put the effort in. How do you think AI is going to transform the space? I mean, I've got the Gronk or Grok, I can't remember the name. It's like
Yeah,
Twitch's
Grok.
version of the video creation, and that's incredible in 30 seconds what it can do to a video that looks almost like it's still there's still little bits that are a bit funny, but it is almost like lifelike. And then you see all these Sora 2 videos that are coming out that are fucking hilarious,
Crazy.
so
Yeah.
funny. Like some of the stuff that people are making is hilarious, but it is kind of scary. Like it is, and I'm sure it is to the point we just don't have access to it now, where it's indistinguishable from reality. So that's kind of concerning, and even with the younger generation, they're very so tech savvy. The ability to create videos that could be harmful or not true, also, I'm sure plays into maybe the decision. What are your thoughts on like AI and how it's going to transform the
It's
space?
a it's a problem that we're dealing with right now. Like a good example. So I would probably say that AI content is more prevalent on TikTok in particular.
Mhm.
I don't know why. I think maybe they're just worse at monitoring it, moderating it. Um, I don't know. It just exists more there. And so we're seeing universally that their views are going down on TikTok compared to Reels or IG.
Right.
So everyone at the moment is loving Instagram in terms of their reach. Now that could be that Meta have decided, okay, we're just going to really go hard against TikTok over the next few years, and we want to grow the creator profiles in particular. So that could be a factor. But I
Yeah.
also think another factor is if I look at my Reels versus TikTok, I would say nearly every second or third video on TikTok is AI slop.
Really?
And so you have to consider, like, if you're a creator that's been on the platform and at the end of the day, our consumption of the platform hasn't increased in terms of hours. So on average, we all consume 48 hours to 44 hours of media a week.
Hmm.
Um, 6 hours per week, I think, across social media, social video. is
Yep.
sort of the average. So, okay, if that hasn't changed, then what's going to happen? Then all of a sudden, people have less time to watch your stuff because
Mm.
there's more AI slop on content. And I love some of the AI slop. Like some of the things are like, you know, sob stories of retirement of like Queen Elizabeth retiring from the Celtics. Like it's just utterly ridiculous stuff, but it's hilarious, and I send it to my mates.
Such a
So
creative outlet that is now can now be used to imagine anything really.
yeah, so. I think that in some ways it will put pressure on talent. I think if you're a business that's being creative and owning these assets, there's going to be a benefit in the long run. I just trying to work out where that is yet.
Mm.
A good example is Coca-Cola. They do their classic Christmas ad. Recently made, um, they made an ad primarily with AI. So it's, like, because in the past they would actually have to film a polar bear or get
Yeah.
footage of a polar bear.
Hmm.
Um, so, there was a post done by the leader at one of the biggest advertising agencies in Australia from Thinkabell. And he said, look, why, if you're Coca-Cola, why would you ever do this campaign predominantly not AI in future? Because it's so realistic. And
Mm.
it is. It looks legitimately, it does have that sort of AI varnish to it where it just looks a little bit too polished.
Yeah, but how long until they figure that? Like they've already figured that out. We just don't have access to that, I would imagine.
Exactly. Um, so in those situations, I think it makes a lot of sense, but I don't know what the outcome is yet and what the eventual like you could ask you can ask OpenAI or Grok and it could theorize where it goes, but what does
Mm.
that tangibly mean on the ground?
Yeah.
I still think that there will be it actually increases the value of the influence of the talent
Yeah. Yes.
because they are real people.
Yeah.
And people will become skeptical
Mm.
of AI personas and profiles.
Yeah. Yep.
So I think it's only going to be useful really around creative ads, like
Mm.
actual advertising for a mass media audience.
Mhm.
Um, but it could, I don't know, it could actually affect the way that people perceive the brand in a negative light.
Yeah.
But I
But
don't know yet because I haven't seen any research.
you're so right. People, I think, will become more hyper aware of the human element to things with the rise of AI, and that'll be something that people are looking for.
Yeah,
And at the moment, AI is very good for those short clips to imagine these funny scenarios, um, but it's still distinguishable enough to be like, oh, that's not a human creating content. Um, and I think as a human, you want to like support people that are being creative and putting themselves out there as much as you can. But
absolutely.
how long until they've just really got it down pat where it's totally indistinguishable and it has a life of its own? You can put in some prompts and it can talk for an hour. Like,
I
um,
don't know. I think pretty soon, to be
yeah,
honest.
exactly. So that
I mean,
it is a developing thing that will be something that like society will have to rectify and understand the true implications. Like um, when it first started to happen, you're like, AI is going to take a lot of jobs in regards to paperwork and stuff like that, processing of documents, all that kind of stuff. But now, like, the more it goes on, the more industries are affected. Actors, like background actors, will probably like they could probably just AI, AI CGI background actors, um, all sorts of things that are going to cause people to have to look for different avenues of making a living or finding a purpose. So yeah, super interesting. Crazy,
yeah, it's
crazy time to be involved in like technology and stuff like that.
yeah, I think it's going to reduce the cost of creative very, very, very sharply.
Yeah, yeah,
So
um,
that'll definitely be the thing and something we're already seeing now.
yeah, and so, like a pivot point. Um,
Absolutely.
like this might sound like a stupid question, being as you make your money from social media, and it is, your workplace. Your overall view on social media's impact on people's mental health.
Yeah, it's a hard one because I quite enjoy it. I mean, I think well, we know for a fact that it affects young girls in a
Hmm.
negative light. Um, we know that overconsumption of it, like anything, affects people negatively. So I think, as with most things in life, the extremes um, is bad, but for most people, it's okay. Um, people would make an argument that it's changed our discourse in a negative light, and I would just say that really it's just a mirror to what was already there.
Mm.
Um, but yeah, it's something that I grapple with all the time because it does, even if you just look at elections or the ability to communicate things really rapidly, um, it's completely changed. It's probably it's got to be the biggest impactful technology that with the internet
Yeah,
of the last 100 years by
by,
far.
by far. It is, yeah. Just its potential to change the social discourse and affect culture
Yeah,
that is then open to nefarious actors, right? Like you have to be super conscious that people can infiltrate social media and push agendas uh, and try and engineer society and the way we think through what is the most powerful media that has ever existed and will ever
yeah.
exist now. It is.
It's saying in saying that though, again, I go back to the consumption thing.
Mm,
You know, social media consumption has it's reached a cliff and it's not gone up in the last few years.
yeah.
It's stayed pretty firm at 6 hours.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't think it'll really because we can control it.
Mm,
Um, we can literally put the phone down, and most people do.
yeah.
I don't think that, and there's all sorts of tools now to prevent you spending an insane amount on it. Um, I think as a society, we've actually capped it out.
Mm,
I think
yeah.
there is more consumption actually on SVOD and BVOD sort of platforms, streaming of some sort,
Yeah.
um, by like 3 hours per week on
Yeah.
average.
Yeah.
So,
Because there's more of an interaction, do you say? Like it's more.
well, it's just more about entertainment.
Yeah. Got.
Um, I think also just even my own consumption of social media, like 15, 20 minutes, I'm kind of good.
Mm,
But I could not sit there. I actually feel bored almost if I was sat on my phone for an hour and a half on a Saturday night or something.
mm,
I kind of feel a bit bored scrolling on my phone.
yeah.
Like I've wasted time. Whereas I prefer to watch something and then pick up my phone a couple times.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that. Yeah. I think a lot of people are at that point.
Mm. But a lot of that comes down to self-regulation. I think if you're struggling a bit mentally, people get some dopamine and get some reward from scrolling and the kind of yeah, the like neurochemical rewards that come with all the colors and the interaction with like the content. So
Mm.
moderation is a huge thing, right?
Yeah, but I also think that it's been blunted a bit.
Okay.
I don't know why. I don't know why. Maybe I'm getting older. Maybe that's just me. But I feel like the reward I used to like I think about my own consumption of it during sort of the COVID era,
Yeah.
way higher and way more intense.
Yeah. Yeah. You're forced
And
to.
yeah, because it's sort of nothing, but I don't know why, like, why is that? Maybe because I have a kid now. I don't know. But it's like TikTok as an example. I would probably look at, and I work in the business.
Mm.
And so the only reason I'm looking at it now is because I know I need to, because I need to sort of keep abreast of as to what's going on. But every night when I sort of sit down for dinner at the dinner table for a little bit, I have like the 15-minute timer on it, and I'll consume for like 15 minutes just to see what's been going on.
Yeah.
That's kind of it. The thing that I consume the most by far is YouTube.
Oh, I'm addicted to YouTube. I've got a problem.
It's I love it. I will do work and just listen to like so many things, like hours of content.
It is such a great resource and platform. I think that is that is the best thing technologically that and like app wise that has been created and will be created. I think just that,
Yeah.
you know, the ability to allow
It,
people to create and post and, share knowledge, like just the transfer of knowledge that we now have, uh, is incredible. You can learn about absolutely the most niche and nuanced stuff you can find on there and listen to hours of content.
yeah.
I think it's such a great and powerful tool. That's why I'm so interested to see where the ban goes and how that affects, if they stay true with it, it'll be interesting to see like a longitudinal study maybe to follow like people through their progression of life. It would be so interesting just to see the effects.
And the impact.
Yeah,
Yeah. I wonder if someone's already doing that right now.
surely. Oh, it's just, I mean, for social and developmental psychologists would be all over it. I'm in my third year, and last semester I did a paper on how personality traits affect feelings of envy towards social media influencers and then the effect that has on people. So if you're, say, higher in openness, are you more likely to feel less envy towards social media influencers? If you're higher in neuroticism, that's going to obviously make you feel more envy. And then the impact of that, like if you're looking at social upward comparison, so if I'm someone that's looking at an influencer that's really killing it in life, um, and has a huge amass of followings and has the body that I want, the car that I want. Um, yeah, how does that envy interact with me in a positive or negative way? And it can go both ways. Like you can
Mm.
use it as motivation, or if you're not in a position of comfort and good social standing, it can really tear you down because you'll be like,
Yeah.
"Oof, like this is what I'm competing with." So, yeah, man, it's such an interesting space.
It's fascinating.
Oh, crazy. And I just love that you're into the comedy side of things because I think you're right. That is my favorite part of social media. Uh, the humor and the creativity of the comics like that you get access to. I've been consuming over the last 2 days. You know that Matan Evans or whatever? He's like an anti
Yeah, Matan.
mate.
Yeah.
He is fucking hilarious. And just when he gets the comedians on and to see them try and work him out or try and like play along is the funniest shit to me. He is phenomenal. And Safini Weenie or whatever her name is,
Yes, I know exactly what you're talking about.
man, that I could, I'm addicted to their shit. I think it's just so good.
Yeah, it's he's very, very funny, that guy, Matan.
Super
Um,
smart for his age, bro.
yeah, just the whole like thing that he's putting on is just hilarious. Um,
Incredible.
but that's to your point, like that's what I consume. Like I actually get bored with social media when it's not, funny or entertaining. Like I don't really like it for serious stuff.
Yes. Yeah.
Like if I'm gonna do that, I'm gonna go listen to something for an hour on YouTube, like an in-depth discussion about the topic.
Yeah. Yes, you're right.
Um,
I think that's what you're right. Like Instagram Reels and stuff like that for the humorous stuff is great. It just depends what your algorithm's showing you, I guess, and what you're kind of searching out. Um,
exactly.
yeah.
Anyway,
Awesome. How long have we got? I've got you for another. How? Yeah, I won't hold you for too much longer.
that's right.
What other questions did I have for you, my friend? What's your uh what kind of stuff do you do to maintain a good sense of mental well-being? I know you're the
Um,
walking pad,
what's that?
the walking pad.
Yeah, I've been working on this thing the entire time. Hopefully someone's noticed. Um, what do I do? Um, I'd probably say gym, sleep, walking on this
Hmm.
is useful. I was meditating for a while, but like these days I fell out of the rhythm. I need to get back into it. I find that's really good because I don't know if you're big on meditating, but just sitting there feels like sort of the not the electricity leaves your body, but some of that intense energy just sort of powers down a little.
Hmm.
Um, so yeah, I think that's really useful. But exercise has got to be key. Exercise and sleep for me. I need like 8 hours sleep.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, and there's the guy that I follow on Twitter, Brian Johnson, who does that sort of blueprint, sort of testing body stuff. Like how can he increase his longevity? And
Yeah.
he's like the biggest thing that you can do above diet, exercise, everything is get your sleep right.
Yeah.
If you can consistently sleep 8 hours a night, at 100%, you're winning.
Yeah.
Um, it's harder for us because we've got a 2-year-old who is obsessed with sleeping in our bed at the moment. So she can wake up at, 3 in the middle of the night, give her some milk. She's sort of somewhat awake enough that she's like, if you don't put me back in your bed as opposed to my cot, I am going to scream for 30 minutes. And
Oh,
we're at the stage now where we're doing the cold turkey
yeah.
therapy. Like, and she's just over time, she's getting quicker and quicker with learning. Like, it's just a waste of time.
Yeah.
Um, so, she's allowed in our bed from 6 a.m. onwards, but still, like, my sleep score, my sleep score used to be like nearly 100% every night. It's now like anywhere from 30 to 70%
Uh, that's the
because it's so interrupted.
yeah. That age is kind of part of that age, isn't it? That you kind of
It's
have to
brutal.
manage that stuff. But you're
It's
right,
fucking
man.
brutal.
Sleep is so key. It's literally you're recharging your batteries. Like it's your body's time to just restore all the shit that kind of needs
Exactly.
restoring. And for your mind as well. Like your mind needs that restorative process, the dreaming, the REM sleep. It's all super important.
And the other thing I should say is it's not just sleep for me, it's sort of the sleep getting ready for sleep process. Like
Yeah,
I take magnesium, I use like a little massage ball pretty much every night just to sort of, get the muscles relaxed. And I try and read for at least like 15, 20 minutes.
awesome.
It's harder at the moment, but I find that that alone is extremely useful because your brain just like really powers down before you're actually going to sleep. And so I'm like oftentimes if I've got enough time to read, so if I've got 30 minutes, I will fall asleep
Mm,
reading. Um, and then you can just go straight. So it's the best.
it is the best.
So
Get off
it's
your
that whole
phone.
process. Yeah, off your phone,
Mm.
not scrolling on your phone, as fun as it may be. Yeah, that's important for me.
Yeah, and I don't know if it's like a chicken or the egg thing, but I find that when I'm in my best mental state, that routine is solid. And then if it
Mm.
starts to slip a little bit, that routine slips, or the I don't know which comes first. But there, you're right. Your sleep routine and sleeping is so critical to like maintaining a good sense of mental health. Um, Reading is great, just to kind of
Yeah,
set the tone a little bit. Oh,
I
that's
love reading.
good. What are you looking to achieve in the next few years with the business before I let you go?
Yeah, I think the big thing for us is we want to really grow on the brand side, working for brands as well as talent. That's probably the big thing.
Awesome.
Um, which would increase our headcount by quite a lot. We've got 5 staff, so if we were able to get that going this time next year, you could be looking at 15 people, but it's really hard. Um, so that's my big thing that I'm working through at the moment is growing the brand side of things. So we can grow.
Mm,
Other people, not just ourselves, can earn more money. I
yeah.
want staff to be in a position where they can buy a house.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, that's the thing for me during,
Mm,
we're going through what you would call like stagflation, where the economy's stagnant but inflation's still high. And I want us all to be in a position where we could be able to do that. I think like most people, they just want to be able to buy a home in
mm.
Australia. That's a really big thing
Which is
for us.
becoming a more and more challenging task with the way things are going. So,
100%.
but the brand seems like the brands will be where the money's at. So hopefully you can crack
Yeah,
that.
it's higher margin.
Yeah.
The work is bigger.
Mm.
Um, but yeah, it's a hard task. So we'll see how we go.
Well, I reckon if anyone can do it, you can, my friend. So good luck
Thank
and
you, mate.
thanks, brother.
Cheers.
Okay, you're the man.